Welcome, listeners of the T.R.O.N podcast, The Randomness of Nothing. This is your host, Rashad Woods, and this is one of the most special interviews I've had the honor and pleasure of having today. She's a speaker, host of her own podcast, best-selling author, all-around positive, great person, Dr. Marissa Pay. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
This is really special, and I'm glad you carved out time out of your busy schedule. And you have such an inspiring story, and you've done such wonderful work throughout the course of your career. And you did it from a background, of humble means, from coming from Canada. So please, can you talk a little bit about yourself?
I guess Canada is humble. I don't know.
My wife is Canadian, so I certainly didn't mean like Canadian is like, yeah. So but I'm just saying, from such a humble background.
Where in Canada is she from?
Just outside of Windsor, Ontario.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm just outside of Toronto in Kitchener-Waterloo. That's where I was born.
Beautiful area.
Yeah, the story is my father was a chemical engineering graduate student at McGill. He got two job offers to be a professor, one at Berkeley because one of his professors was T.R.O.N, who became the chancellor, and one from University of Waterloo, biggest chemical engineering school in Canada. And it was 1960. He turned the TV on, saw burning of bras and acid and sex, rock and roll, and my father's extremely nerdy, and so that's how I ended up being born in Kitchener-Waterloo.
Understandable. That's what I found fascinating about your story, and I always let everybody tell theirs as opposed to me telling it, was your story was self-confidence in growing up and being able to find the better version of your truer self, and then eventually you parlayed that into helping other people. So are you able to talk about that background of yours and how that really turned you into the positive transformation person that you are?
Absolutely. I was born into a pretty traditional Chinese home, and tiger mom. It's a stereotype, but there's always truth to stereotypes. So achievement was number one. In that culture, there's also something I call negative motivation. So in order to raise your kids or your daughter in particular to be the best she can be, she would say, you're fat, you're ugly, you're clumsy, you are not all that in the extreme, as a means or a motivation to make sure I didn't become fat, ugly, and clumsy. So these days that does qualify for childhood trauma. And there was also peppered with well-meaning, sometimes more mean than well, actions in correction and things like that. So I would say I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma, and that set me on this course where achievement was everything. So I was the youngest to this and the first for that, and that was how I thought I could have love. And so I became a professor like my father. I got a doctorate in organizational psychology. I have 2 masters, and then I was teaching at UCLA in the business school. Did some consulting work in Europe, and began teaching grad school there.
Wonderful.
I was a good daughter in that sense, and I chose a man who didn't like to work and also carried on the theme of you are not attractive, you're not desirable. He would introduce me to his friends behind my back as obese, and I was probably about this size. So it was not his fault. I picked him, but it is normal for kids who come from childhood trauma to continue the habit of seeing themselves in the worst possible way by choosing mates who also were incapable of giving love the same way their primary, whoever they grew up with. And that upbringing will lead many people to think that they are um, always going to be behind everyone else. So uh, I have to catch up. I have to get fixed. They had a great childhood
Mhm.
and it's not fair.
Mhm.
I will have to work harder. And it's a common uh,
Right. Right.
theme and approach for people who've had that kind
Right.
of background. And at some point, I can remember saying, wait a minute. If 7 out of 10 of us have had childhood trauma, and my honorable
Mhm.
moniker, I was actually introduced to Oprah as the Asian Oprah, and she will say it's as high as 8 out of 10 who've had childhood trauma. And she has come out
Mhm.
herself, and I credit her with bringing this whole okayness to talk about mental health and not mental health
Mhm.
or illness, mental illness
Yeah.
into the forefront. She'll say 8 out of 10. Some psychologists today say as high as 90 some percent. So at some point, we have to ask the question. And your podcast, I read a little about that. It's about that whole rocking the traditional BS of
Yes.
belief systems and status quo.
Absolutely.
And this is definitely
100%.
one of them, which is
Yeah.
if it is the majority, why do we
Mhm.
think we're broken? We're the majority.
I
So
saw
there
that.
has to
Yes.
be a reason for
Mhm.
pain in life. There has to be a
Yes.
reason or a benefit to having this kind of treatment in life, which is a very out of the box and completely blows up all of the paradigms and stereotypes and BS,
Right.
calling the BS,
Right.
the belief system that there's something wrong
Yep.
with us. And that began me on a journey of looking at that and really looking at the benefits and the consequences of growing up thinking that I have to be fixed or I
Right.
have to pull myself up by the bootstraps in order to
Mhm.
pretend that it didn't happen, right? Although we all
Right.
know that what you don't deal with will come back and deal with you.
Without question.
And that
Without
is
question.
the sort of
Absolutely.
the path that I took. So then when I realized this, I began to speak in terms of not healing to be fixed, but there is power if you move through the pain, but you got to move through it
Right.
and then pop out
Right.
into the power. And that became the impetus for my number one Amazon and national best-selling book called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are.
Yes. Yes.
Self-help on steroids, not a book that is from the perspective of a psychologist telling you how to be happy, but from one of
Yes.
the 7 out of 10 of us
Mhm.
who've had childhood trauma and has
Yeah.
discovered a way to move from loneliness into hope, from heartbreak into love, from loss into faith, from
Beautiful.
control
Wonderful.
into happiness, from fear into
Right.
freedom. So, in all of those ways, there is not just hope, but we have the power that we've forgotten
Right.
to choose our birth rate of happiness.
Absolutely. I think one of the most amazing things that I saw was an interview you had from a mutual host at wonderful Jennifer Norman, and you said suffering is optional, right? And I was like, wow, when you actually break it down to that, right? So to your point, we're all going to experience some sort of level of pain or trauma. It's inevitable. We're human, and nobody's perfect. But to actually stick in the suffering of it, that's the part where you have the option of it or not. And that's very important because then you'll realize that, to your point, I'm not alone. And sometimes social media or the media in general makes it, that you're just a unique person when in fact we are the majority of the population that is going to go through those things.
Mhm. Pain in life
And I thought
is
that was a wonderful thing that you
mandatory.
said.
Suffering is optional, is what he is referring to. For those of you who didn't listen to that interview, I am adamant about that because there's a BS that we grow up with that if bad things happen to you, then either you're being punished or you're very unlucky. The book, great book,
Yes.
but it does hurt us if you say, why do bad things happen to good people? Best-selling book. That
Mhm.
leads you to think that bad things shouldn't happen, which is such
Correct.
bullshit talky. And again, you're right. The social media does, you don't
Yeah.
see the bad things unless it's scandalous, then it's bad. But
Correct.
bad things
Correct.
happen to everybody. There's not one person who can escape bad things
Mhm.
because it's a part of life. And the
Mhm.
sooner we recognize that bad things are like a chisel. And so if
Yes.
we're a rock, right, with sharp edges, dull edges, no shape or form, and there's a chiseling of life, right? It's not a punishment. I don't even
Mhm.
like it when people say, well, I have to learn the lesson. No, that means you're being
Mhm.
punished. That means you're not getting it. No, there's always some good that will come out of any kind of pain. We
Of
just
course.
have to embrace,
Of
and
course.
when it happens, don't do a bypass and go, oh, that's so great. No, it sucks when you get two blood clots that mean you cannot
Yes.
fly for a year. It sucks
Yes.
when you lose a
Yes.
job, or it sucks when someone betrays you. And if you go, oh, like
Mhm.
Serenity Now, like George Costanza's father did in Seinfeld, that's bullshit hockey. I mean, that's, you're human.
Yeah.
You have negative
Yeah.
emotions for a reason. The more you can get in
Right.
touch and feel fully those negative emotions, then, like a dumbwaiter, you can also
Mhm.
feel the high emotions: exhilaration, excitement, orgasmic
Yeah.
happiness. What, that high stuff you can't feel if you're not feeling what's below.
Right.
So sea level is fine, and then
Right.
you can go right up and down.
Absolutely. It's tough not to get caught in the extremes, right? Because we're kind of slaves to our emotions, right? And so, you know, you typically get criticized too much if you just plow through trauma. But at the same time, when you wallow in it too long, it's like, hey, at some point you have to dig yourself out of it. What exactly is the best practice to actually find that happy medium? And is there a right or wrong answer to that?
Whatever feels the best. That's
Okay.
my rule. It has
Okay.
always been my rule. If
It's
it feels
beautiful.
good to wallow, then
Yeah.
wallow. At some
Yeah.
point, you're going to get sick and tired of your own sick and tired. And you're going to say, okay,
Yeah.
nobody wants to talk to me anymore. I
Right.
smell, right? I'm in debt. My
Yeah.
bathrobe is gray and it was pink
Mm.
before.
Oh my
At
goodness.
some point, we're
Right.
human beings who have a natural love. We are
Mhm.
born creative. We are born to explore. We're born curious. We're born with unique talents,
Without question.
gifts,
Without
and
question.
abilities.
Absolutely.
So, is it working for you? I ask that question all the time. Is it working for you? If it's not working for you, then it's time to
Mhm.
change. Okay.
I thought
Yeah,
absolutely.
go ahead.
No, I said I thought that's a wonderful thing to say because you have too often that, there's, oh, you need to do this, oh, you need to do that, but that's not specific to you, right? And how you're feeling and what
Nobody
you're going
knows
through.
your stuff, right? And this is a Gen Z thing. I was just interviewed by a Gen Z, and I loved his question was, do you have any advice for Gen Zs who, it's like they take everything so personally, whereas the baby boomers didn't take anything personally, maybe that they should have, right? So
Right,
where
right.
is that balance? And again, it is, if you have a set point and you know that your life, that dash from birth to death is the only one we're going to have that we know of. Shirley MacLaine, I don't know. However, I do know that this is non-renewable energy. Every single day that goes by, I cannot get back, right? No matter what I do, it's over. So I'm going to take every day, and I have a choice
Right.
every single day.
No, without question. Without
I
question.
can wake up and say, I want to feel good for as much of this day as possible.
Yes.
88% of the time, I want to feel good.
Right.
So when I start doing this in the morning, MS, meaningless scrolling, and I read something,
right.
Really? And you want to respond angrily or
automatically.
Oh my God.
Right.
Oh no. So all news will give you a case of the 4 A's: angry, aggravated, anxious, and afraid. So you have the choice.
Oh my goodness.
To choose to look at things, and all headlines are done for that purpose because those 4 A's will keep you watching. That's what news producers do. If it bleeds, it leads. There's so much news out there that won't give you those 4 A's, but give you my A, which is amazing. Okay. So you have a choice. My show, they said it would not last a year because I do not talk about headlines. I don't talk, no matter how horrible or no matter how consuming 9/11, no matter what it is, the election, I will not.
That's a powerful thing to do.
By choice. And they said you wouldn't last a year, Dr. Marissa. You're just head in the sand. And guess what? 610 consecutive weeks, 13 and a half years later, I'm still here with a YouTube
Isn't that amazing?
channel with a 4.2 million impressions. That just amazing. Tells me people, I'm not alone. People want to feel
there's
good.
a world. There's a world, and and kind of this is what this podcast, the randomness of nothing, is to talk to people like yourself. And I can only hope to achieve what you've achieved, but when it comes to that little segment of the world where I don't talk about certain things, it's like I'm allowing this is my show. So if you want to go somewhere else to find those things, by all means, go right ahead and do so. There's plenty of options out there, and I don't knock those mediums for having. There's a space and a place for it. But when you're trying to get to a space of curiosity, well-being, understanding, and learning, I'm not interested in wallowing in misery or pursuing a headline, so to speak. This is about meeting people like yourself who have carved out their own lane and been able to see the other side and say, this is the way that you probably should live because it's going to lead to a better outcome for you. And so it'll help your health. It may help your marriage. It's going to help your career, your well-being. And overall, it's a positive space for you to just almost have like a Zen kind of feeling, so to speak. And it's a wonderful space to be in because I'm a firm believer you don't let anything crash into you that you don't allow into your airspace. So I don't get those kind of audience people wanting to be on that show because I don't talk about those kind of things.
Mm-hmm. I will just do a fine tuning of one thing you said, though. I don't do this to tell anybody what they should do. Absolutely. I'm not for everybody. And I only give advice if you're paying me.
Absolutely.
So that is, everything that I talk about is because it's for me. Like I do the show for me. The fact that you get some benefit from it is great. But I do it because there's nothing better than if I wake up with a fat and ugly attack, I have to do my show live first thing, 9 a.m. Pacific time on my YouTube TV channel. Then it goes to my NBC News radio channel. Beautiful. That goes to iHeart and Spotify at 8 a.m. drive time live on your way to work. That is for me. I love to laugh. I love to learn. I bring you guests that are interesting or old TV, I love all the things that I love. is for me.
Wonderful.
so
Wonderful.
and I say this for a really important reason. You introduced me as someone who serves other people. And I think we've gone a little too wacko, sorry,
You're fine.
about service, because there's so many people serving who are exhausted from all the serving that they do for
For sure.
everyone else, and the
For sure.
oxygen is not there.
For
And
sure.
so when I do happiness coaching, the order is the universe or God or whatever you want to call that. I'm allergic
Mhm.
to religion, but I am
Mhm.
spiritual. I choose
Yeah.
to call him my UPS man, my universal power source. He delivers every morning when I meditate. Okay. He's representative of all the incredible creations that we have, and I'm
Yes.
connected. I am part of
Mhm.
that. So it's
Yes.
that, and then me, and then others. And if you
Right.
get that order out of whack, you will suffocate from not having enough oxygen. And or if you don't have that top level, I
Mhm.
lived in no top level. uh it was others, self, nothing.
Yes.
That was my order, right? And
Yeah.
I ended up exhausted. I
It
ended up
is.
very poor because I lost almost 3 million in a divorce
Oh.
because I picked someone who, you know,
Whew.
like I
Yeah.
told you at the beginning,
Yes.
and
For
he
sure.
didn't like to work, but he looked like Cary Grant. And I have two beautiful girls. So, for that chapter on out of hatred into forgiveness,
Yes.
always doing that work. But uh, it is so tantamount. If I can communicate this one takeaway, if you want to feel good in your life, if you
Mhm.
want to stop worrying, if you want to stop being angry, if you want to stop being afraid and holding your
Right.
breath, waiting for the other shoe to drop, then you got to take some responsibility for what your BS is. What are your belief systems that keep
Without
you in those
question.
four A's?
Right.
What is it?
Right.
Um, do you have to believe, do you have to insist on there can't be a God, there can't be the universe is not friendly? Einstein
Mhm.
says the most important question that a human being has to answer is the universe friendly or not? And I have
Right.
so many people
Right.
that will say to me, Dr. Marissa, come on, don't you listen to the news? No.
Off.
Don't you
Right.
see all the starvation? Don't you see all the wars? Don't you see all the rumors of war? Don't you see all this stuff out there? How can you say the universe is friendly? I say it's friendly because I don't look at those things.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that
Evidence
amazing?
that the universe is friendly. I woke up this morning and the planets had not crashed into each other last night.
Exactly.
Woke up this
Exactly.
morning, my body
150%.
processed the food that I and is keeping my
150%.
immune system good. I have things, people, places, things around me. I have a limitless source of creativity.
It's
It doesn't
amazing.
matter if I lost the business before. I'm the same person that can create that business and more. I have a limitless, I go up every day, hashtag UP,
Mhm.
unlimited possibilities. I say often and much, I love my life, because as I emphasize how much good there is, the more good will come. I'm like Thor. I just hold up my I love my life, and
Yeah.
more stuff comes. I'm a student and a teacher of the law of attraction that
Yeah.
works whether you believe it or not. But what you focus on will go bigger,
What's
bigger.
up?
No one's holding a gun to your head to
Yep.
look at something in social media that pisses you off.
Yeah.
Too
And it
many people are very vested in their piss offedness.
isn't it
And
amazing?
it's your choice, boo. You could
It,
do that, but then don't complain. That's why I run the 21-day fast from
mm,
complaining with Dr.
mhm.
Marissa. That's, it's New
That's
Year's
amazing.
resolutions on
Yes.
steroids. So it's always your
It,
choice.
I think
Always.
one of the great things that I saw when you said fear is future event already ruined, right? And
Yes,
so,
that's
a-
mine.
and I thought about that, and I said, you know what? If you've already put in your mind that either A, I'm scared, or B, bad things are going to happen, right? You've already planted the seed of negativity, right? And you've already made up your mind that something's going to go bad or going to be on a bad outcome for yourself. And to your point, there's more information in front of you more than anything else, the doom scrolling, as we call it, right? Where you look for something to aggravate you or get you worked up so you can immediately reply back to that person you disagree with, right? Mm-hmm. And so now you're in that space where that's all consuming. You think about it when you drive, you're taking a shower quicker so you can reply back to something. And then next thing you know, it's consuming your everyday life, right? And
I call it MS, not doom scrolling, because you put the meaning on the scroll. So meaningless scrolling is the umbrella term that I use, because it's not even doom unless you make it doom, right? So it's meaningless. It's meaningless to you. I used to say, we don't, on my show, take my advice, I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa. No gossip, no scandal, no K words. Why no Kardashian talk? Because there's no meaning. Their lives have no meaning for you. That's the thing. What is your life? You have a choice to give it whatever meaning you want.
Yes, you do.
Why would you have someone else's life have so much meaning?
Isn't that amazing?
Why look at the headlines and talk about the headlines and blog and respond about the headlines that you have no power to change
over people you'll never meet?
Why do you take your energy that is non-renewable and choose to give it to something? There's no possible change, but there is possible change of learning a new language, of sitting on and having Google Play, which means just putting whatever thought comes into the Google line and see where it takes you, and hit. And next thing you know, you're on a trip to go and help something because you're going to get some credit or understanding of something you didn't know before.
Beautiful.
I mean, it's so unbelievably widening, opening, limitless, incredible.
Yes.
If you can let go of the BS that has led you to the place that you don't like.
Exactly.
And while I'm on it, here's my last rant. No.
It's not a rant. It's the truth. People need to hear it.
The mental illness is a great, it's great that we are aware of it. It is wonderful that my honorable moniker, who came from the day of Jerry Springer, where the only thing you saw was the worst of people on camera. Now, yes, we're talking about it. It's good to talk about your mental illness. It's good. The Gen Zs have taken it to an art form. I'm feeling horrible. I have a diagnosis. Okay, I love y'all. However, and I talk like this. This is a moose on the table.
I've seen some of your other interviews. You're exactly the same.
Did I tell you what this means?
I saw it on one of your other shows because it's Canadian related. I know that.
Yes, because I was born in Canada. Instead of talking about the elephant in the room, I put the moose on the table. All right. So I'm putting the moose on the table about mental health. Yeah. Mental health, if you have a diagnosis, you are not your diagnosis. All it means is that right now you have a habit and a predisposition to see out of your depressed pair of glasses. Okay. I'm not saying you don't need meds. I am saying, though, before you take anything, gambling, sex, shopping, drugs, alcohol, can you, for 30 days, look at your attention? That's a quality you have. I'm so poor I can't pay attention. No, I'm kidding. Attention is a skill. Have you exercised your ability to focus on what you do want versus what you don't want? And in every topic in life, you have the choice and the freedom to either focus on what you don't like or focus on what you do like.
Absolutely.
And the habit right now is you focus and you complain and you cry and you rant and you protest about what you don't want. And
Without
what
question.
happens with that is what you focus on grows bigger, and you say, I don't want this, I don't want that, I don't want this. And guess what? That's the attention. So you're going to see it. How do things go wrong or the way you don't want them to? Because you're focused on what you don't want to have happen. And guess
Wonderful.
what? As a collective, we brought on our current political state. We did that. We brought on our current state of health or not health or obesity or starvation. We did that by focusing on what we didn't want. So if you want to change, focus on what you do want. Same with dating. If you're having a tough time dating, my guess is you talk a lot about what you don't like about that person you're with or the date that you had. And guess what? You're going to keep getting that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I've been swiping, no swiping. And I'll admit it. You know, I'm getting wackos because I keep talking about the wackos. So I've decided that it's so fun, though, to talk about the wackos that now I'm dating just for the purpose of material for my stand-up. So
I did hear you were a stand-up comedian as well, too. And so I'm looking forward to watching some of that as well, too. I did, however, you know, and that's great advice because, you know, when I do martial arts, right? And one of the beautiful things about martial arts is you have to leave complaining at the door, right? And so you literally, because if not, you're going to get blasted in the face, you're going to get choked out, right? So everything that you could have possibly have had a negative thought about, even in the midst of getting your butt handed to you, right? You know, there's 5-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds. That 3-minute round is over. Whatever happened previously in that 3-minute or 5-minute round, it's a fresh round, and you have to be focused on the task at hand with your opponent in front of you. And you literally have to have the shortest memory to be able to be successful at this next round. Because if you start thinking about what happened 25 seconds, 35, 40 seconds ago, you're already done. You are washed. You're like, it doesn't. I have a black belt in Tung Sudo. I have a brown belt in Taekwondo. Right now I'm doing Muay Thai, boxing, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
A little bit of a recovering overachiever. I teach Tai Chi and Qigong.
Beautiful.
So martial arts as well.
Beautiful. And you know exactly where that world comes from when you better have a very short memory of what happened before.
Yeah,
you have
it's
to.
a choice. Everything is a choice. People ask me all the time, if I can, what's the one way? I gave you 8 ways to happiness, and they want to know what's the one way, the bottom line. And then I say, buy the book. And after that,
absolutely,
part proceeds go to Habitat for Humanity.
Beautiful.
And I am doing a book signing. If you're listening now, hopefully you'll get this out before December the 16th. I'm doing a book signing at the B. David Levine beautiful showroom in Beverly Hills. So
I'll get it out before that. That won't be a problem.
That is where you can come if you're in Southern California, but you can also get it on my website. But it's because, and again, you have to pay for it, right?
Absolutely.
That's my advice, that you pay for. And
sure.
it is a gift. What's in it for me? What's in it for me is if everyone took responsibility for their own thinking, their BS, their belief system, and their personal mastery, then we would have world peace.
Without question.
But because everyone is still operating on an old paradigm called professional mastery, where fame, fortune, a lot of stuff, right? Material, I got more than you. That is still the predominant definition of the American dream. Then we have tragedies like Robin Williams, Anthony Bourdain, Kate Spade, who had professional mastery, but no personal mastery. Personal mastery is for anyone who used to have an imposter syndrome, fear of failure, fear of success, self-sabotage. Those are perfectionism, the dis-ease of where you are. I'll be happy when, and never
Right.
getting to when.
Right.
That is the downside of
Hmm.
having professional mastery without personal mastery. So
Yes.
I got to teach this course at UCLA. They brought me back last year to teach a specialty course called Leadership Success and Happiness,
Hmm.
because the old adage of it's lonely at the top, or
Right.
you can only be happy if if you're a wuss, right? You have to be successful or
Yeah.
happy. You cannot
Right.
have
You can't
both.
have both.
That's
Right.
bullshit talking.
Hmm.
You can have success and be extremely unhappy, or
Yeah.
you can be successful and be very happy, but
Right.
not the definition of the American dream. That's the American nightmare. You
Right.
want to have, do, and be everything, knowing that it's up to you, boo. No one else
100%.
can make you
100%.
happy.
100%. And I did now. One thing I was fascinated with was your corporate speaking career. You've talked to Fortune 500 companies, globally,
Still do.
as well as, and still, excuse me, still do. And what I thought was interesting was you would talk to teams and CEOs, and to your point, very successful people who privately would tell you they were miserable. So when you would talk to teams with organization and structural, to what does that encompass? What do you come in to achieve when those companies reach out to you?
Great question. Good segue. Thank you. My PhD is in organizational psychology.
Hmm.
Now, PhD just stands for piled higher and deeper. That's the stand up coming in. But organizational psychology is the study and the merging of business and psychology. So, human dynamics at work.
Hmm.
And the number one thing that I do with my C suite, senior VP, all of my leaders when I come in and they sit me down, and inevitably they'll say, Dr. Marissa, I don't understand. It's not rocket science. Why can't people do what is simply laid out for them to do? Why? And I'll go to the employees and they'll say, why is there so much favoritism in this organization?
Hmm.
Why is there so much conflict? Why is there a lack of trust? Why is there so much miscommunication?
Right,
And
right,
then I
right.
sit them all down and I say, I do know of one organization that has no favoritism, no power, no politics, no miscommunication. Everything runs like a smooth oiled machine, and they'll all go, oh, I want to work there. Where is it? And I'll say, you ready?
I'm looking forward to hearing this one because I don't know the answer.
The cemetery.
Oh, geez. Damn.
Where there are no
Oof.
people,
Oof.
there are no problems.
Yeesh.
To have the expectations that somehow you can leave personal at home and just bring professional to work is ridiculous. We
Hmm.
are whole people. We are 88% fabulous, and
Yeah.
12% of the time we step in it.
Yeah.
That's what we are as human beings. That's the
Yeah.
definition of me. And
Yeah.
Lord knows you want to get my 88% because the 12% ain't pretty. But when I do step in it, it's like I don't beat myself up anymore. I just go, okie dokie.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, that's what it is to be human. We can
Right.
cut ourselves some slack. When I have a bad interaction with someone, inside my head, I say, if I looked like you, I'd be miserable too. Outside, I smile and I say, um, I'm just gonna need a quick break here because I'm not in my 88%, and I don't want my 12% to spill onto you.
That's
And
awesome.
if we can do that, we'll have world peace.
Yeah.
That way, when there's a breakup, they're not a son of a beach.
Right.
They're just someone that doesn't match with you.
Isn't
That's
it?
it. That's
You know,
it.
and the beauty about, one of the things, and I don't mean to big up my podcast when I say this, but it kind of segues to my personal life. Once you found that little pocket of what makes you you, and you found where you're secure in your own place in the world, it is a very valuable place, right? Because then you immediately, even when you go on social media and you see something that certainly starts complaining, you're like, take it off my feed. I don't even want to I can't see things like that, right? So when I go to your page, or when I've talked to some of my other guests, those are the ones that I want in my feed, because it's always about what's next. What's the next betterment? How do you get to this next level, personally, professionally, physically, spiritually, and again, not uber religious, but is there something that's going to get you to a higher plateau? And you'll find out real quick that it's not easy to get in that space, because you have to be willing to lose people too along that journey, because the complaining corner gets really lonely after a while, right?
I'm a giver, not a receiver. So I just
Yeah.
post. I
Mhm.
don't read. And I
Right.
apologize for those who think that I follow them. I don't. I because I got things to do, and if I get distracted
Yeah,
by someone's shenanigans, I've
it's
just
crazy.
lost time. Okay.
Yeah,
Time is my most valuable resource. Say that. Time is
without
my most
question.
valuable resource.
Without
So
question.
I cannot be, tempted
Yeah.
away because I don't read. So that's number one. So those of us who are out there, okay, a couple of things got highlighted just now when you were speaking. One is, you do not have to have or know your perfect job or your perfect purpose. What's my purpose in life? You know what your purpose in life is? You know what every single one of the 8.1 billion of us on the world, you know what our purpose is? To
I would love to hear.
feel good.
Amen.
Period.
Amen.
End of. And religion, unfortunately, society, unfortunately, have hijacked the word satisfaction or pleasure or
Mhm.
fun, that there's something wrong. If you're having pleasure, fun, you're lazy, you're not accomplishing anything there,
Right.
you're in sin, you're
Yeah.
in, and that's so bullshit talking, not true. We are look at children are our best models of what
Hmm.
life's about. Do you see a kid going, oh, does my butt look fat in this? No, that kid is running around,
Yeah.
dancing, laughing. Children laugh on
Without a
average
care in the
100
world.
times a day. Adults on average laugh 40 times a day. That's a big difference. I think it's less than that, the way I've been looking around people,
Oh my
especially
gosh.
during the holidays. You would think this was the season of non-joy or hate. Okay. But it's truly one of those, we've kind of gotten an ash backwards.
Yeah.
We think we want this, we want that car, that house, that title, that da 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 da. And why do we want those things? Why do you want anything that you
Imposter
think you want?
syndrome. Imposter
Why
syndrome.
no, why do you want a big podcast? Why do you want people's respect? Why do you want big numbers? Why do you want a snazzy car? Why do you want a beautiful outfit? Why do you want that pair of shoes? Why do you want to live wherever? Think about it.
Hmm.
Every single thing that you have on your vision board, all of that is because you think that if you have it,
It'll make
you'll
you happy.
feel
Yeah. It'll feel
what?
something. You'll feel
You'll
happy.
feel
You'll
good.
feel happy and
You'll
good.
feel happy.
Yep.
Here's an amazing question for you. Is it possible to feel good before you get them?
Absolutely it is.
So then why are so many people miserable trying to get it? And if they have it, they're miserable because they're going to lose it. And
Because you were miserable before you had it.
and
Because you
you're missing the point of the discovery path, of the
Yep.
path, the magical path of attainment.
Of
If
course.
you the journey, and it's not about the journey, it's not about the destination, it's about both. And if
Right.
you can choose to be in the present, which is a
Right.
gift
Right.
of that path, and you can go, oh, I have a goal, right? I work with perfectionists all day. I'm a recovering perfectionist. If you think about it, every time you work with someone who has a goal, I have an objective, I have a dream, I have whatever it is, and
Mhm.
you run at that and you get to 88% mark, right? So here's 0, here's 100, and you
Mhm.
go into the 88%. Now,
Mhm.
at that 88% bar, you have a choice to turn your attention and your focus either way. I can look towards what all has been accomplished, 88%. Oh,
Mhm.
wow.
Absolutely.
Good
100%.
feeling. Oh, high
100%.
five, fist bump,
100%.
whatever it is. Or, which most people do, especially in America, achievement oriented. Don't get up. You focus on the 100 and the 12% that isn't yet. And what
Mhm.
do? You say, I gotta get that. I
Yes.
Come on,
Yeah.
push, push. And
Of
that
course.
feeling, which is the happier feeling?
The first one,
The
obviously, of what you've
88,
already
yes,
accomplished, of
but
100%.
where are we as a country? In the 12%.
And the
It is an
12%.
anxious, what's wrong? What do we need to fix?
Right.
Who's to blame?
Right.
Okay. And in that tense 12%, you also look at people that way.
Yeah.
Do you start dating,
Yeah.
oh,
Right.
you get to the 88%, all these things they do well, and then you hit that point, pregnancy model of relationships, second trimester, the glow's gone. And then you say, oh, why does he squeeze the, why doesn't he put the toilet, why can't he check that?
He's
Why
not as
does he leave clothes all over? Why can't they pick up dinner?
yeah,
Why do I have to do everything? Okay, guess where that is? The
the
12%.
12%.
And we treat people that way. And I'm not surprised we have conflict in the world.
Right. Right. Because you're not, you're searching for the imperfections, right? You're searching for
Looking
what's
for somebody to blame,
yeah.
looking for somebody to pin it on, looking for someone to make wrong.
Right.
And
Right.
to be fair, we grow up in that in the school system. Not until recently did we have all of the above. It was
Right.
either what is the right answer. And so, teachers don't go, so from your perspective,
Right. Right.
what is your,
Right.
no, what is the right answer? Who has the right answer? If you don't have the right answer, you're stupid. You
Correct.
are dumb. You didn't prepare. How dare you? We have so many habits that lead us to where we are. And if we can just take responsibility and say, I'm managing my little hula hoop here. Am I feeling good? What is the best feeling thought I can have? And to give kudos, all the things I've said just in this last 5 minutes has
Mhm.
been Abraham Hicks, law of attraction. I listen to Abraham Hicks every day when I
Mhm.
drive, which is every day, and free on YouTube. Just listen. Don't worry about where the message come from. Just listen to the truth of who you are. Every single one of us is one of a kind, wonderful. There's no
Absolutely.
punishing God
Without
out there.
question.
There's no hell and brimstones. There's no gnashing of teeth. We're here on the planet to grow and expand. That's it. And you're never going to get it wrong and you're never going to get it done. Right?
Beautiful. Beautiful. I've always been attracted, to messages like this because
You're
inherently when
married.
people
You can't.
when when people spew positiveness, people almost would rather they think there's something wrong with that person. Why are you happy all the time? Why are you always spreading such positive things? That's annoying. That person gets on my nerves. They're smiling all the time and happy about things. It's weird how people
Welcome to my
actually
world.
yeah, I was about to say, and I say that respectfully because I'm almost like you seem like the type of person, that I've listened to where people will be like, she's always saying such nice things all the time. What's wrong with her? Doesn't she realize the world sucks and my life sucks and it's
Mhm.
not always so happy out there and there needs to be something found wrong with things. And so to get that world and get that message out and to stay in that lane is very, very hard. People sometimes
No,
think that it's easy.
no,
You know,
it's not hard.
you don't think it is?
Not hard. Nope. Because I really don't give a flying through a rolling donut what anybody thinks about me.
I just meant like for people who are trying to get not like you have the obviously, and I say this respectfully because we've only talked for this time, but I'm getting to that place because you know it's almost like when you're happy you're losing weight, stop comparing yourself to like LL Cool J, right? Be happy you lost the weight that you lost, right? And so now when you get to that space, like, man, I feel good about my accomplishments. I feel good about where I'm getting. I feel good about how I look and where I'm at. I'm 42 years old. And I'm like, you know what? I don't look that bad for 42. I'm not saying I'm not, I'm no suave Fabio. I'm like, man, you know what? I could wear a muscle shirt and be very respectable for myself. And when you get to that space and you feel happy about yourself, it's a beautiful thing. I'm certainly
And
not
you
going to.
can get there without any of the bells and whistles that I have, any of the achievements that I
Oh, for
have,
sure.
and then lost. You can get everybody can feel 88% good about who they are no matter what. And that's
Beautiful.
a message that is not common
Mm.
because you're caught up in the American nightmare. You have to accomplish, you have to have something to show, you have to be productive, blah, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And that will continue to keep you in bed with the covers over your head because it's just too overwhelming.
Yeah. It
It
is.
really,
It really is.
everybody has, everybody is loved, loving,
Yes.
and lovable.
And has value.
Everybody is
And
wrapped in a warm blanket of worthiness. Everybody has unique talents, gifts, and abilities
yeah.
that you don't even have to show anybody.
Right.
Everybody has um, worth. Everybody has
Absolutely.
the
Absolutely.
one of a kind, wonderful.
Without
Um,
question.
that's why I start every show for the past few years with breakfast. And no, I don't have Uber Deliver. I have a bite
Yeah.
of my gratitude sandwich. What does
Yes.
that
I saw
entail?
you said
Top
that.
of the bun. What are you grateful for when you wake up? You just look around you and very quickly, Dr. Wayne Dyer said 5 things every morning. I'm an overachiever. 8 things. Eight's a lucky number in Chinese. I know you thought I was Swedish, but I'm actually Chinese. It's a homophone for good fortune. So we do 8 very quickly. I'm
Mm,
grateful for my coffee. I'm grateful for flushing toilets. I'm grateful for
mhm.
the sun. I'm
Right.
grateful, blah, blah, blah. And then at night before you go to bed, I model for you on the show. I'm not going to bed with you, but at
Mhm.
night, what I want you to do is look in. That's the bottom of the bun,
Yeah.
right? What do you like about yourself? But we are
Right.
so entrenched in a habit that shoulds on ourselves. You shouldn't have done
Right.
this. You shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have said this. You're not all that. Don't toot your
Right.
own horn, right? All of those
Right.
restrictions that we've allowed take over. No wonder you can't fall asleep. And
Right.
or can't
Right.
believe they said that about me.
Isn't that
You
crazy?
Yet all of that, how dare they? No
Right.
wonder we can't fall asleep,
Right.
and go ahead, take something that has side effects. They're not side effects, they're main effects.
Yeah.
So, okay, personal mastery starts with you, and it starts with a BS that says the buck stops right over
Without
here.
question. Without
Not
question.
blaming,
Without
not
question.
shaming,
Without
not
question.
saying that if they wouldn't have, then
Mhm.
I could be. Or if they didn't, I would be. That
Mhm.
okay, I have this is like a I don't know if anyone's listening who's ready for this,
Mhm.
but 7 out of 10 is a lot of people.
Sure
So my
is.
guess is 7% of people that are going to be watching this now or later are saying, okay, I'm one of the 7 out of 10 of us who've had childhood trauma. And
Mhm.
I'm going to say something to you right now. And if you're ready to receive it, this will change your life. If you want that thing, that horrible thing that happened to you when you were a kid. Um, yeah, it shouldn't happen. And yeah, I am sorry it happened.
Mhm.
I know some of your pain. I don't know all of your pain, but I know some of your pain because
Mhm.
I spent quite a bit of time wanting to die when I was a kid
That's
from
horrible.
that, from the level of the well-meaning, right? More mean
That's
than well.
terrible.
So it's very common for abused kids to also think that maybe they brought it on. Maybe I did something to deserve that. And I'm here to
Hmm.
tell you all, you did
Yeah.
nothing.
Right.
Nothing, nothing, nothing. And the
Yeah.
people that did it to you did the best that they could with the time that they had and the resources that they didn't have any better. They didn't know any better. You can blame it on them for the rest of your life. It'll make you feel like shiitake.
Mhm.
Trust me. Okay.
Mm.
Now, you're not responsible for any of that at all, at all, at all. However, here comes the tough love. Right now, if you're
Right.
using that as a reason
Right.
to have can I say shitty here?
Knock yourself out.
Okay.
Of
Because
course.
on my show, I'm under FCC violation. That would be $20,000. Okay. So
Oh.
if you insist, like you said, life sucks,
Mhm.
shitty life. I hate my life. Okay. So that is on you.
Absolutely.
That's on no
100%.
one else. You don't
100%.
have to drag that into the
100%.
present or spew it onto the future. So today, whenever you look at the calendar right now, today, put your hand up with me, put it over your heart and say, darling, I want this day to be the
Mhm.
first day
Right.
that I know who I am. I
You're
am
right.
one of a kind, wonderful, and I'm no
Beautiful.
longer using you as a reason to feel bad.
And it sounds like a cliche, but when you actually do let those things go and you move forward, you'll find a better version of yourself. And the reality about it is that if you're not aspiring to be a better version of yourself every single day, you're just letting whatever happened in the past hold you back. And it really, really is an epidemic that ultimately can lead to your own self-destruction, right? And to your point, the cemetery is the place where there's no conflict. So anybody with the idea that there's never going to be emotion or bad feelings or confusion or hurt, you're living the wrong. You're living in a fantasy world, to say the least. That just doesn't exist. And one of the beautiful things of talking to you is I'm going to make sure that I check myself next time that I complain. I'm going to make sure when I wake up, I'm going to be like, hey, you know what? Today's a great day, even though it's 20 some degrees in Michigan right now. It sure beats being able to feel this cold as opposed to being underneath the ground.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
you chose Michigan. I
yeah, I
chose
did.
Florida.
That's the point. Right, right, right. So like you start saying like this is
Yeah.
a choice,
Yeah.
then things start to become a little more clear in your mind.
Yeah.
Nobody forced this upon you.
Correct.
What's the character that
Correct.
in ancient that pushed the rock up the hill every single day? This is not how your life is supposed to live.
Yeah.
You make a
Rodin.
choice. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
It's a
So
choice.
so you can actually register. I would challenge you and your wife to
Mhm.
register. It's $21 that goes to my nonprofit, Eight
Yeah.
Ways to Happiness, that helps kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness.
Mhm.
$21. There's videos on YouTube every single day. There's a way to not complain. If you
Mm.
manage to string together 21 consecutive days, I will give you double your money back.
Wow.
So I do need a little bit of verification. And
Yeah.
you hear the sirens right now. That means that
Yeah.
whatever I was just saying is the absolute truth.
Yeah.
So I
Somebody got
want
a tragic right
everybody
now.
to go just Google Asian Oprah. Google my assistant's really good in pointing you. Free subscribe to my YouTube TV channel. Easy. You don't have to pay anything, just attention. And
Mhm.
then my Dr. Marissa life or Asian Oprah
Beautiful.
online.
I can't thank you enough for your time, and it has been an honor and a pleasure to be able to interview you out of your busy schedule. And I want to thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you, Rashad. It's all about balance. Peace in, peace
Yeah.
out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever.
Thank you. You too.